emotions, so we can guilt her.
You can blame
But
her.
Blame her.
blame her. Okay, we can't blame Riley because she's learning to manage those new emotions. But when we get older, we all need to learn to manage those emotions in a way that don't affect other people. So maybe anxiety is something that can affect a lot of people, but we all have to work on the way we transmit it to our family, for example, or to our friends, so we don't, ¿cómo sería lastimarlos? We don't hurt them. Yes. So I think there is not a right or wrong way to manage these emotions. Meanwhile, it doesn't hurt other people.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think that's the point, because even if you have, let's get into the film's universe, right? We have anxiety in control. The way we express what we are feeling may hurt others or not. We may, show how anxious we are, or we are doing something because of anxiety, but not showing that we are anxious, if you know what I mean. Like trying not to look that desperate or nervous or whatever.
An interesting thing about the film that I noticed is that, for example, I was thinking about Joy, for example, and she, in a moment, she started cursing. She got angry. I mean, Joy. So I said, "Come on, you are
Right.
Joy. But yes, I'm thinking this way. You are Joy. Okay, come on, you can't be angry." So
yeah.
there we have the character of anger, and then anger feeling showing some kind of encouragement to Joy in some moment in the film. So I was thinking, okay, come on, you're anger. You can't do that.
You have to blow things up. Yeah.
You're right. You have to be angry all the time. So there's flexibility that the emotions, I mean, the characters have in the film. It's also interesting to analyze. Well, okay, let's go back to the questions. I'm sorry. That was something that I was
Yeah, it
thinking
is
about.
true. They are not so mono emotional, that they have certain, flexibility in a way. Lourdes, Abril. Okay.
I think that I agree with Sophie that there isn't a right or wrong way to deal with emotions, with any emotion, not only complex ones. But yes, I really like when they put the simpler emotions in a jar, because they were like bottling them up, and it's not useful to bottle up anything, because it will eventually blow up like it does in the film. But then again, she is a teenager, so it also happens in a place where she's not, she doesn't have like the support of her parents, because she's in a camp. So she doesn't have any, or her mom or dad who know her to deal with, or to help her deal with her feelings, and she doesn't ask for help. So I think like the context didn't help her a lot, and also she's just a kid, she is growing. But it also happens when you are adult. When we are adults, it's like we don't have time, or we are very busy, or we focus on the wrong things, and we start to do this bottling up of things, and at the end it doesn't go well for us. Like Joy, that she decided which feelings or which moments or memories were worth to remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, she went all controlling again.
She became a tyrant.
Even though she had good intentions, she meant well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
She did it again. She did it again. So yes, there is no wrong or right way, but even though you don't hurt other people, you are hurting yourself. You are hurting the relationship that you have with your own self. So it is difficult to find a balance, but you also need like to have support around you. And I think in that moment of the film, she didn't have the support that she needed. Her family, or maybe her friends, maybe her family, because they were the adults and they could have helped her deal with these emotions in a healthier way. Because her friends, although the friendship island it's very popular with the
Yes.
teenagers, they don't know either. They don't know what they are going through. So they only can offer, I don't know, understanding, but an adult can help you manage this or teach you how to feel better. But yes, I think she needed help of a parent or an adult, a take carer to help her.
Yeah, Lourdes mentioned the islands. It is true that the friendship island becomes huge and very fun in it, and the family island becomes a little smaller, or actually less interesting for Riley, which happens with teenagers, unfortunately. For families, for families as well, we have to develop our identity. Okay, so if you're yeah.
That's right. But luckily, we have the support of aunts like Sophie
Yeah.
and either blood aunts or I don't know, friends that act like aunts that help our children, to give them a good piece of advice, or serves as a mediator between parents and teenagers. I was thinking that I agree with you guys that there is no right or wrong way to deal with emotions. That, as we see in the movie, we have to tailor our way to deal with emotions. What is good for ourselves? Maybe it is not the right way for others. So we start like Riley did in the movie. She first she had a sense of identity that triggered some actions. Then she had a second self of identity, mainly driven by anxiety, and she started doing things thinking on that way. And then it came up a third sense of identity, and it was a new way. And she balanced the good and the bad emotions in her own way. Maybe it doesn't happen to everybody, but that's nowadays a lot of people talk about different things that help you cope with these identities, like mindfulness. I don't know, some people go into prayer, or some sense of a higher being that help you. Others talk to friends, family, sometimes the psychologists. And those are ways to deal with these emotions that can hurt you and can hurt others, like the girl say.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
if we were
yes,
talking about
right.
good or bad emotions or something like that, I believe that some of them are more negative when you express them, or when you let them control you, so to speak, such as what happens with anxiety. Anxiety is supposed to have a positive effect on people, because it lets you plan in advance, something that fear actually doesn't do. I mean, fear is concerned about the present. He's trying to, to protect you from something that's going on. Whereas anxiety, she sees ahead, and she's trying to say, okay, this is going to happen, blah, 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 the consequences, which is in a way.
Actually, yes. Actually, she did the same thing as Joy in the first film.
Yes.
She was trying to help Riley.
Yeah, she
But
had a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then happened what we know. Right.
It was a coup.
Thing.
Abril.
Abril.
You stole what I was about to say. It was a coup d'etat. When I watched the movie, I was thinking, skeptical when I watched the movie, but then I saw it in the political perspective, and I said, she's overthrowing everything that they have built in the first movie. And if you think it in the metaphorical way, that's really important, because you think that adolescence makes children overthrow their whole personality that was before to build a new one. And I wouldn't say maybe that there is a right or wrong or a specific way to deal with emotions, complex emotions, but there are healthier and no healthier ways to do it. As Eugenia mentioned, I think that maybe it's not the same solution for everyone, because teenagers are not the same. For example, I have cousins, and I have the youngest one. She's really like me. I see her and it reminds me when I was her age. But I had her sister. It's nothing like us. So, and that could be good, that could be bad, but I think that it's really important that teenagers know that they will go through things, that they will overcome it, that it's not that sense of despair that comes when you're 13 and you think that, oh no, this is the end of the world. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Relax. Everything is going to be okay.
Eventually, yes. We focus on very silly things, as Ohe was mentioning before. Um, I, I remember about, for instance, at secondary school, I focused on the way I walked, and I felt awkward about, the way I walked. So I tried to imitate the way other people were walking, so as not to look stupid, so to speak. Those silly things that we worry about when we are teenagers, it actually don't really matter, but it does matter to us when we are in that stage. Okay, next one deals with the control center, with this console that everybody was talking about, and how they freak out when they see that it's changing. How does the dynamic change when the control center changes? And is it possible to have a healthy life without certain emotions, which is in a way related to what we were saying before? But I suppose we should focus more on the first question. How does the dynamic change when the new emotions come into action? When envy shows up, when anxiety shows up, especially anxiety.
Yeah, especially her.
The others, well, we did speak about how envy seems to be accessory. Embarrassment and ennui do seem to have a different role. But it's your turn to talk, not mine.
Yes.
I get myself thinking about ennui because I didn't understand quite right what the movie wanted to transmit. Because when Ennui was at control, some parts of the mind of the brain, Riley's brain, get destroyed.
Yeah.
So it was something like that, and what happened here is it's something that you start wondering in your mind, but it is not explained in the movie. Maybe I don't know, because at one moment a whole path was broken. There was
Yes.
no river, no road to go ahead. So maybe going through boredom, laziness, gives leave gaps in your lives. Like you go, I thought of that. You start thinking backwards, and you say, what happened when I was 13? I don't know. Summer, my 13-year-old, I can't remember. Maybe because I was all struggling with boredom or laziness. It was like a
Good
gap in
point.
my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it wasn't explained very well in the movie.
It wasn't, but I was going to ask you that when we were talking about ennui, but I would like you to reflect on that, girls. Lourdes, Sophie, Abril. What role does ennui have in the film? What do you think?
It makes sense what Eugenia says, because now that I try to remember my teenage years, I do remember like a lot of things. I do remember like the sensation of on me, or the sensation of embarrassment, but I don't remember like the memories. What made me feel like embarrassed, or what made me feel like I didn't want to do anything. Yes, I do remember like the stronger ones, like the stronger emotions, like happiness or sadness or anger or anxiety. But yes, there may be some, I don't know, some brain pathways that get destroyed, and that's why we can't remember that it takes like a decade and more years for the brain to be fully developed. So all of these strong changes or strong emotions, they must have like a consequence. And I don't think that the consequence is a small one. It must be something big. Even now that teenagers are exposed to a lot of stimuli, and the consequences are something that we won't see tomorrow, but in the future, yes. When they will calm down a bit, they will finish with the strong emotions, or their hypothalamus will get fully developed. They will try to analyze what happened in those moments, and they will be able to remember, like I am experiencing now. So yes, the changes are not very big, or we don't perceive them. But yes, something must have happened. Maybe in the third movie, when Riley goes to university, we will see the consequences.
When nostalgia
When
shows
she
up.
meets, or when
Yes,
she meets boys, because in this movie there are
yes,
no boys.
exactly like that. Like embarrassment will probably play like a big role in that
Yes.
situation. Yes, totally.
Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about that, but boys do not have any important role apart
No,
from
no relevant role.
Lance, was it Lance or Lace? Lance, the video game character. He's the only male or
Oh, that's right.
Lance. Yes, it was Lance.
the one that becomes into this ball that bowls.
I start remembering about Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't know if your kids see Dora the Explorer and
yeah,
the other, when a pouch comes into play, and it's the same thing that cartoon character does in the with Dora
Ah,
the
yes.
Exploradora,
Yeah,
and
the backpack.
for instance Mickey Mouse. There
yes,
are
Yeah.
a lot of intertextuality
yes,
in
definitely.
within Inside Out too.
Yes, with these, what's the name of the dog? Bowly, Blowy, Blowfy, something like that.
Ah,
Yeah, that he's
yes.
In the film,
in the
yes,
film.
yes.
He's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Mickey Mouse character. He goes,
Yeah.
no, we need a
Ah, that's right.
separate tool, and then
Yeah.
the pouch thing
Speak,
shuts
yeah,
up.
speaking to the public directly.
He's speaking to the part, breaking this fourth wall.
Yes,
Yes.
And the
that's
So,
public
good.
was literally a wall, like the fourth wall. It was
yeah.
literally a wall. So yes, it was very bad.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm remembering. Yes.
It was very intelligent what they did there. Yes. I thought they were going to do something else with the secret, with the dark secrets, but then it wasn't that much. Although it makes sense that for a child, something like it was like burning the rug or making a hole in the rug. It was like a big dark secret.
Mm.
Which you did watch it, right? You did stay for the post credits. Yeah, you saw it.
Yes.
It wasn't that bad, but it makes sense. We sometimes as children believe something is like really dramatic and the end of the world, and it's just a silly thing.
Yeah.
Sophie, Abril.
I was watching Sophie to see if it was me first or her. Yes, well, we talk about the dynamic that we talk about the coup d'etat, and I also like what Diego mentioned about Joy being a bit angry and fury or anger being a bit like encouraged. I cannot with that word. Well, like
Encouraging.
encouraging, yes,
Ah, yes.
because I think that it gives some kind of depth to the emotions, because joy is, it's not, you don't always feel joy in the same way. Sometimes you have, I don't know if it happened to you, this frenetic sensation like where you want to jump. Well, like when you're maybe some, it only happens to me when you're at a concert or something like that, and it's a different type of joy, different to when you are tasting something that is delicious. It's different.
Yes.
And anger is not always the same, because sometimes it's something that drives you mad, or sometimes it's just a little bit. So I think that it's really important that she can add depth to those emotions, because that shows that she's growing.
Yes, she actually tries. She's also sad. She does seem envious at the same time of anxiety, and fear might actually have something to do with it, because he's constantly talking about anxiety. Anxiety would have done something. Anxiety would have had a plan. Anxiety would have known where we're going, which makes sense, because fear, as we said before, it's worried about the present, but anxiety seems like a more developed version of fear. Sophie, anything else you would like to add?
Well, I think that I see the answer. Well, the control center lose control when you appear. So at the end of the movie, there is a new control center. I mean, there is a new machine adapted to Riley's needs, because it's necessary to delete in a way what Riley has learned about, for example, her parents or about family, because when we are younger, we see there is something called Edipo that kids loves their parents in a hard way, in a really
intense way.
Intense way, yes. And when we are growing, there is a moment that we think that nobody understands us and that our parents are our enemies. But I think that this is necessary. I mean, not to be angry with our parents all the time, but it's necessary to create our own personality and to step away from what is right or wrong according to our parents. I mean, they want to take care of take care of us.
They care about us.
They care about us, but I think that all these new emotions are necessary, and although that dramatic reactions are necessary to grow up, because we can't be always in love of our parents, such as we are in the kid, in
the childhood.
The childhood, yes. So Diego and Matias should enjoy your kids. In a few years, they will think that you are their enemies.
Yeah, so that we are stupid, or we are old, or that we are not. We do not understand.
Or we know nothing. That happens.
We know nothing.
We know yes, she knows English more than me, and I know nothing. Yes, it will. Of course, it will eventually happen. That is a self-construction, I believe, right? Just when we start building our own identity, and then yes, of course I don't know if enemies, but well, we start thinking that our fathers, our parents are not always right. And so we have to build that self, that identity, and that is what we see in the film, basically, right? This construction, although, well, Riley suffers a crisis. It doesn't happen. I mean, it is not always like that, but she's building the construction, and maybe not, well, I'm not in that sense. I mean, she suffers this anxiety crisis, but I don't know, it is not always like that, but then she finds the balance, all the emotions and all the control center and everything that we are speaking about. But yes, I agree with you, Sophie. Yes, Eugenia, you wanted to say something. Yeah, now you are muted. now.
Yeah, just
About
muted.
what Abril said about the emotions,
Mm.
that Joy felt furious and also felt envious at some point. And there is a psychological theory that some emotions serve as a mask for other emotions. For instance, when you are always angry, and you start reacting in a furious way, it's sometimes because you are deeply depressed or sad
Or
with
insecure.
something. And instead of feeling furious, what you will have to do is to cry, for instance. And that way, emotions will get balanced again. As for instance, some people said, well, you are joking, just joking. But I don't know if you know that some jokes masquerade a bit of truth.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of relation with emotions. I was thinking of that when I saw Joy in the movie having all these mixed emotions at one moment.
Yeah, definitely.
That maybe, well, that's all.
Okay.
No,
There wasn't that much
Okay.
to say.
All right. Yes. Let's pass on
But
to our
we have to be very careful to hiding our emotions because we are going to turn like Ned Flanders in The Simpsons. He was like furious all the time, saying all bad words and that stuff, and then he started playing the good fellow, and at one point he collapses and
Lapsed, yeah.
starts feeling anger again. So hiding our emotions at one moment will break us down and show the worst of us.
I was thinking about that concept, Euge, about this masquerade concept. And maybe if we interpret the first film, maybe that is what happened in the first film, where Joy was, in a way, the mask of sadness. She was trying to avoid sadness all the time, and well, of course, we can see that in Riley's expression of feelings. So maybe that is the masquerade, Joy taking the place of sadness, and then at the end of the film, she understands that, well, they can live together, they can coexist, let's say, right? But they are these concepts are very complex to explain and to try to say, okay, emotions are very complex. Now we have this film in which we can have this shape, right? But they are very, very complex concepts. Okay, the last question, Madi.
Yes, this masquerading thing that we were talking about, this masquerading concept, is actually related to the last questions, which were related to society. We wanted to ask you if you believe emotions are socially constructed, and if you were aware with, if you were aware of, it's not aware, if you were aware of the concept of emotional labor. Have you done some research? Or maybe you do it. Avril knows it. Avril knows it. Come on, Avril.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I can assure that what Eugenia said is true, because at least 60% of the time that I feel angry, deep down, I'm just sad. So that, and well, answering the question, I think that, well, I don't know. Yes, I think that emotions can be socially constructed, because if we think about, I know that we have talked about a lot, like about her, Inui, that sense, that apathy that she has, you can see that sometimes if, for example, if we continue talking about teenagers, if you had a classmate that is like that and you want to be his or her friend, kids start acting the same, like with the same sense of apathy. And sometimes they are not like that, but they start acting like that and they start to feel like that just to be similar in some kind of way. And in relation to the emotional labor, I have just Googled it, but no, I didn't know about that.
Okay, but you did Google it, so I don't know if you would like to have a go at explaining it, or would you like others to do it?
Well, here I could read that it's related to the management of feelings, but I don't know. Here it says that it's related to achieve some kind of request in relation to work, but I don't know what type of work could that be. I think that it's more related to the management of feelings.
Yes, in general. I mean, it is applied in the context of work, but that's why the labor concept shows up.
Yeah,
But it can be associated with absolutely anything. Right. So, Lourdes.
I had to Google it as well.
Okay.
And yes, it is according to psychologists. It's like when you change your emotions to so when you change your emotions to affect the emotions of someone else, and I think it happens like first of all, it was like introduced in the context of the service industry, because, for example, when waiters have to manage difficult clients when they are not happy about, I don't know, their meal. So it was like that, like the waiter or waitress, because it is associated with women.
Yeah.
So it is associated with women when they have to I don't know, to smile and to try to be calm so you could influence the other persons into a calm state. So I think that is maybe it's related to that. And I think it happens a lot in the in schools with teachers, or that's just me when I have to act a certain way, when I have to act a certain way for my students. For example, I am very tired and my last class is with teenagers, which is a lot of work to do at, I don't know, 7 in the afternoon. So maybe I am like really tired and I get into the classroom and I feel like a switch in my mind. It's like I have to, suddenly my I am not so tired and I have to be like very, I don't know, perky with them, and I have to make jokes and I have to like show them that I am this way and they like can be this way, because they will, like Avril said, like they will mimic my emotions. Sometimes when I am very tired and I can't hide it, or I can't, I don't know, I can't hide it. They said, "Miss, are you okay? Is everything okay?" Like they can really tell. So sometimes I feel like an actor, like a performer with my students. But it is totally worth it, and it is totally true that when you don't do that, it really has an effect in the classroom. I don't know about male teachers, but I know it happens a lot with female teachers, because they have like this I don't know, motherhood role that they have to perform. I don't know if with male teachers it's the same. Like I don't know if they have to be like that. Maybe it's the other way around. Like teachers will be them, and students will have to I don't know, emulate them or resist the teacher's attitude. But with female teachers, I think it's always like emotion management, and then you forget your own. You put your own emotions in second place, so you can fulfill like or help them fulfill their needs and not your needs first. It happens with teachers, and I think it happens a lot with mothers. I'm not a mother, but I can imagine that it is like this. You repress certain things or certain emotions, and you show, like you put on a show for your kids, so that they can feel better, or they don't, I don't know, be influenced by a certain emotion. Either, I don't know, probably like a negative one, I think. But yes, I don't know how this is related to the movie, but
it is.
maybe, I don't know, with the girls, like Riley have had to like put on a show or a certain I don't know if it creates like certain aspects that she didn't feel or but yes, she had to put on a show to maybe to show off a bit with Valentina Ortiz.
Yes.
And it happens a lot with teenagers. Like teenagers have to like maybe put on a show to impress, or they feel the need to say, okay, I don't have to feel this, or I don't have time to feel this. I have to show this girl, which I really like, my best face, or my best, I don't know, the best part of myself. So
Well,
yes, when you want
yes,
to,
as Matthias said, it was closely related to this masquerade thing, this masquerade theory, let's say.
It happens all the time with teenagers. Like they want to be cool, they want to be perceived cool in the face of, I don't know, in front of other people. It is exhausting. So poor Riley, it is exhausting.
They just want to fit in, to have a group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Want to fit in.
Yes.
I was thinking about this concept related to one part of the film when she had to eat a cereal bar. And that's the most basic feeling you have with either you like something or not. It can make you sick if you eat something that you don't like, or it is unpleasant to you. And she ate the lot of the whole piece just to fit in, and she had to hide her feelings of disgust towards the food just to be with the hockey player. The other girl.
Okay, just a second. This is about to conclude. Let's resume the meeting again one last time for conclusions. Be right back.